Welcome to the Win Streak preview and prediction of all 32 NFL teams for the upcoming 2017 season. Over the next few weeks, I will be covering all 32 teams, so please subscribe on YouTube or the podcast platform you're listening on so you don't miss an episode. My name is Corey Foister. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Corey Foister. Follow the show on social media, Twitter at Win Streak News, Facebook.com/TheWinStreak, TheWinStreak.com. Leave a review and subscribe on the podcast platform you're listening on. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Soaring Jets Production. If you're listening to this on YouTube, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to do this year, what you think their record will be when it's all said and done. Contact us at either soaringjetsproductions@gmail.com or thewinstreak.com/contact. Join our Fantasy Football League and find out more information about that on our Facebook page. Top 10 Super Bowl matchups we want to see is now live. Me and my co-host Brandon Myers do a weekly wrap-up show, so please, if you're on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, search The Win Streak and check us out if this is the first time you've ever listened to anything from The Win Streak. But today I'm on Team 14. I'm almost halfway there on our 2017 NFL preview and prediction series. We're doing the Philadelphia Eagles today. This is the Philadelphia Eagles' 85th season in the NFL, second season for head coach Doug Peterson. Howie Roseman is the general manager and Jeffrey Lurie is the owner of the team. This will also be Carson Wentz's second season as quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles started off 3-0 in 2016. Eagles would lose 9 of their final 13 games, 2-4 record against divisional rivals. The Philadelphia Eagles looked really good at the start, but the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants were just too much for the Eagles. 3-year playoff drought. Eagles finished 7-9 in 2016, won 6 home games, only 1 road game, and that 1 road game was at Chicago, so they beat probably one of the worst teams you possibly could on the road. They definitely have to win a lot more home games, but yeah, they only lost 2 home games, or they definitely have to win more road games, but they've won 6 of their 8 home games, but only 1 road game. For Pro Bowler, defensive tackle Fletcher Cox, offensive tackle Jason Peters, running back Darren Sproles, and center Jason Kilse. 3 NFL championships, 1948, 1949, and 1960. 3 conference championships, 1960, 1980, and 2004, I should say. 13 division championships, last being 2013. 24 playoff appearances, last also being 2013. The Philadelphia Eagles consistently ranks in the top 3 in attendance and has sold out every game since the 1999 season. They have really great diehard fans. Crazy, but definitely diehard and some of the best NFL fans out there. No Super Bowl titles, but the fans, like I said, they offer memorable moments like booing Santa Claus. Forbes ranks Eagles as the 10th most valuable NFL franchise. Franchise what if for the Philadelphia Eagles? I actually have a few of them. What if Buddy Ryan hired a competent offensive coordinator for Randall Cunningham? Buddy Ryan he had a good team. They just didn't have the full support around him. What if T.O. was fully healthy for the Super Bowl back in 2004? Of course, the Tom Brady and the New England Patriots would win that Super Bowl, the last time the Philadelphia Eagles have been to a Super Bowl. What if the 2012 Dream Team lived up to the hype? The Dream Team, which famously was Vince Young who deemed it the Dream Team, with Michael Vick. They got all these big name players to come to the Philadelphia Eagles, and this was supposed to be the year 2012 Philadelphia Eagles was supposed to be the dream team. It was supposed to be the best Eagles team ever, and it just completely fell apart from the get go. It was just a complete nightmare. But what happened if the Eagles, that team, really did live up to the hype? Because Michael Vick, all these players back then, they just totally underperformed. It wasn't just Andy Reid or Michael Vick. The whole team, all these players just had a awful, awful season. That team should have been way better. I don't think, personally to me, I didn't think it was good enough to win a Super Bowl. I thought it was way overhyped. But they should have made the playoffs. They should have been there. They should have been in possibly the NFC championship game. Going on to 2017 outlook, the Philadelphia Eagles made a bold move last season that paid off when they traded Sam Bradford to the Vikings and went with Carson Wentz. The offensive line should continue to improve strong support for Wentz. Eagles, however, need a better run game than last season. Eagles also have a deep defensive line despite defensive tackle Benny Logan leaving. Tight end Zach Ertz looks promising, along with linebacker Jordan Hicks and safety Malcolm Jenkins. Biggest positive change for me, the Philadelphia Eagles were lacking at wide receiver last season, and I believe they addressed the problem. They got Alshon Jeffrey on a one-year deal. I think a one-year deal is good. He was good in Chicago, but he's dealt with a lot of injury problems. But you got him on a one-year contract. You don't have him locked up. So if the injuries, if he's towards the end of his career and sadly he can't get it back together, then it's only for a one-year deal. Torrey Smith, he came from the 49ers, another guy that had some injury problems and just kind of had an off year. Not really more the injuries, but just a off year with the 49ers. But it's hard to have a good year when you played for the 49ers last year because the 49ers were just awful. They will help Wentz take a next step, I believe. It definitely helps Wentz has um, more targets. That's never a bad thing when you have a sophomore quarterback going out there trying to avoid the sophomore slump. And I think Wentz has a chance to, if they're going to be a sophomore slump between Prescott and Wentz, I think it's actually going to be Prescott because I believe there's more pressure, of course, being, the starting quarterback from the Dallas Cowboys. So Wentz has not a lot of pressure on him outside of Philadelphia. He has like local hometown pressure. But as for national, that's all on Prescott. So if you're Wentz, you're kind of in a good situation right here. You're not having national pressure to be good. Biggest negative change, Eagles lost cornerbacks Nolan Carroll and Loditis McCalvin. I know I totally butchered that up. Eagles secondary might take a step back from last season. They brought in a few other guys to kind of shore up the secondary, but I don't know. I think the secondary will take a slight step back, but that's why Wentz, another reason why he needs to take a big step forward. LeGarrette Blount was getting signed, was a great signing. Of course, he came from the New England Patriots, had 18 touchdowns last season for the New England Patriots. That was a great get by the Philadelphia Eagles. Pedersen's seat isn't hot unless he fails to improve on 2016's 7-9 record. Even if he does not improve on their 7-9 record, I still say he stays. Seeing what Chip Kelly did, it takes a while to rebuild from that. I like what the Philadelphia Eagles are doing. Eagles are in a tough division, though, likely searching for a wild card at best. It's just really hard with the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys, I think they're going to take a step back, but they're still going to be better than the Eagles. And personally, I think that the New York Giants are a better team. But I think the Eagles, they finished in fourth place in the NFC East in 2016. I think they can be better than the Washington Redskins. And, I like Kirk Cousins. I think he's a good quarterback. So it's going to be a tough division. All four of these teams are really good, but I just think that the Giants and the Cowboys are slightly better than the Eagles and the Washington Redskins. Preseason schedule for the Philadelphia Eagles: at Green Bay, home for the Bills and the Dolphins, and at New York to play the New York Jets. Regular season game by game prediction: the Eagles have 5 primetime games: at Carolina for Thursday night football, home for the Washington Redskins on Monday Night Football, at Dallas for Sunday Night Football, at Seattle for Sunday Night Football, and home for the Raiders for Monday Night Football. Worst case, best case scenario here: you open up September 10th at Washington. Worst case scenario, you lose this game. Best case scenario, I say you win this game. It's going to be very tough, classic NFC East divisional game showdown. The Washington Redskins are no joke. They lost some key players, so I'd say that you'll win this. I personally think, but you can't count out Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins has been the best quarterback the Redskins have had, in my opinion, in a long time. September 17th at Kansas City. I say worst case, best case, you do not beat the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs, Kansas City is a rough place to play. It's extremely loud. It's almost as loud as Seattle's stadium. September 24th, home for the New York Giants. Worst case scenario, you lose this game. Best case scenario, you beat the Giants. The Giants and the Eagles, they seem to always trade. Eagles lose in New Jersey, but always beat the Giants, it seems like, in Philadelphia. So I say you win this game, but you lose to the Giants later on in the season. Going into October, at worst, 0-3, at best 2-1. October 1st, at Los Angeles to play the Los Angeles Rams. I say worst case, best case, you definitely win this. If you're going to make a wild card push for a wild card, or possibly for the division, which I think is out of reach, but you got to win this game, because if you lose this game, I don't see how you make the playoff. That's one of these games where you need to win. October 8th against the Cardinals at home. I'm pretty big on the Eagles. I'll say that the Eagles can beat the Cardinals, because I'm just not sold on the Arizona Cardinals. I think the Arizona Cardinals are going to be better than what they were last year, but I don't know if they're going to be as good as they were 2 years ago. So worst case, best case, you beat the Arizona Cardinals. October 12th at Carolina. Worst case scenario, you lose this game. Best case scenario, I think you win this game. October 23rd, home for the Washington Redskins once again. Worst case, you lose this game. Best case, you win this game. October 29th to end October, you play the 49ers at home. Best case, worst case, you are definitely beating the 49ers, just like with the Rams, but especially with the 49ers game, since it's in Philly. You have to win this game to make the playoffs. You need to beat teams like the Rams and the 49ers, because the Eagles don't have a easy schedule. It's not extremely hard, but it's not easy. So going into November, worst case scenario, you are 3-5. Best case scenario, you are 7-1. November 5th, home for the Broncos. Worst case, best case, I say you lose to the Denver Broncos, just because of that Broncos defense, but it will be a close game, because Lynch and Simeon, I'm not really sold on either one of them. If Simeon comes back, he's going to have to take another step forward. If Lynch starts, who knows what Lynch could possibly bring to the table. He might not be any better. He might be worse than Simeon. Then you have a bye. Then November 19th at Dallas. Best case, worst case, even though I think that the Dallas Cowboys are going to regress. They're going to either Elliott, Prescott, or both of them going to have a sophomore slump. I still say that the Dallas Cowboys are going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles in what they call Jerry World. November 26th, home for the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears might possibly be the worst NFL team this year. I mean, only the New York Jets and the 49ers could possibly contend with the Chicago Bears. And now seeing that the Jets' number one wide receiver is hurt, The Bears and the Jets are probably a tie, but the Jets are probably going to win it. But you have to beat these Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears are awful. So worst case scenario going into December, you are 4-7. Best case scenario, you are 8-3. So let's go into December when the Eagles hopefully are making a push for a wild card spot. December 3rd at Seattle. Best case, worst case, you lose to the Seattle Seahawks. Extremely, that's a far travel. Just extremely loud in that stadium. The Seahawks will probably be looking to wrap up the division, get a first round bye in the playoffs. So I just don't see the Philadelphia Eagles winning that game. This December 10th at Los Angeles to play the Rams. The Rams, I say, probably worst case, best case, you definitely beat the Rams. December 17th at New York. Worst case, best case, you beat the New York Giants. December 25th, home for the Oakland Raiders and also a Monday Night Football game. I say best case, worst case, you lose to the Oakland Raiders. And then December 31st, home for the Dallas Cowboys yet again. Worst case scenario, you lose to the Dallas Cowboys. Best case, you beat the Dallas Cowboys, but that might just be because they have their starter, Prescott, benched yet again. You won't be playing Tony Romo, but you also won't be playing the true starter of the Dallas Cowboys. So, best case scenario for the Philadelphia Eagles for 2017 is 10-6. Worst case scenario, 5-11. My final prediction, I say that the Philadelphia Eagles go 8-8. I could possibly see 9-7, but I'll go 8-8 because they do have they have 6 tough games against division opponents. The Redskins, I feel pretty confident that they could maybe possibly sweep the Washington Redskins, but I say at least a 1-1 split. But for the Giants, I could see the Giants and with the Dallas Cowboys, the Eagles could go 0-4 in these games. And that's not a knock on the Eagles. That's just praising the Giants and the Dallas Cowboys for being such a good team. You have to go at Kansas City. That's going to be a extremely tough game. If they get off to a bad start, it could get ugly pretty quick at Washington, at Kansas City, and then home for the New York Giants. An 0-3 hole is pretty much, it's going to be impossible for the Eagles to get out of that and still make the playoff. Like I said, at Rams, that offers a good possibility of a win. Cardinals, they have a good chance at that. Carolina, if you're going to make the playoff, I say you got to beat Carolina. The 49ers, you definitely have to beat them. You probably have to beat the Broncos. The Bears are definitely, you can't lose to the Chicago Bears. Seattle Seahawks, that's going to be a rough game. The Raiders are going to be a rough game. So those 4 games against the Cowboys, the Giants, the Raiders, the Chiefs, and the Seahawks, and I just think those games right there are just going to be too much for the Philadelphia Eagles to win that division. But they're definitely in it. They're in it for possibly a wild card spot, but I say they just barely miss out on a wild card spot. I think it's going to take in both leagues, or conferences, I should say, it's going to probably take 9 or 10 wins to make it into the 2017 playoffs as a wild card team. But once again, my name is Corey Foister. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Corey Foister. Follow the show on social media, Twitter at Win Streak News, Facebook.com/TheWinStreak, TheWinStreak.com. Leave a review and subscribe on the podcast platform you're listening on. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Soaring Jets Production. Leave a comment below. Contact us at soaringjetsproductions@gmail.com or thewinstreak.com/contact. Join our fantasy football league. Check out our top 10 videos. Check out also our weekly sports wrap-up show. We're going to have a lot of great content once the NFL season starts. Like I said, with the NFL fantasy football league that we're doing, the winner of that league will get probably a $25 gift card to Amazon. So please check us out and listen to us. But until next time, this was the Philadelphia Eagles preview and prediction show. We have 15 other ones out there already, so please go check them out. But until next time, keep on winning, everybody.